The stars blurred into streaks of light as the Nereida's engine surged to full thrust. Captain Lyra Kale breathed shallowly, sweat clinging to her brow. Red indicators flickered on the monitors. Pursuers. 3 ships from the coalition of ascendant Earthlings, Psyche, closed in fast. Reactor at critical levels. We can't keep this up for long. Don, her engineer and longtime friend, shouted. That we find somewhere to hide. Somewhere their nets aren't cast. The Nereida dove into a debris field of old colony transports, floating skeletons of the first space expansion. Lyra barely breathed. 3 seconds. 2. 1. The sensors cleared. No contacts. They'd lost them. For now. A moment of silence fell across the bridge. The displays calmed, but Lyra felt the tremor in her legs. This escape wasn't the first and wouldn't be the last. Her eyes shifted to the metal case strapped to the wall. Inside, the truth. The proof. Dawn stepped beside her, resting a hand on her shoulder. If they catch us, it's over. Not just for us. For everyone. She nodded. Then we make sure they don't. Since the 2020s, humanity had changed dramatically. The turning point came in 2030, when a breakthrough in AI research made sustainable nuclear fusion possible on an industrial scale. New materials, designed by quantum AIs, allowed containment of the extreme temperatures inside reactors. Clean, efficient, limitless energy. Fusion brought an energy surplus, and with it, new frontiers, orbital platforms, asteroid mining, terraforming trials. Nation-states gave way to networks of corporations, technocracies, and orbital alliances. Earth remained the origin, but no longer the center of humanity. By 2045, permanent settlements existed on the Moon and Mars. In the 2050s, automated factories mined the asteroid belt. Space travel was no longer heroic, it was routine. And dangerous, especially in remote outposts like Psyche. Progress brought control. Surveillance systems, neural profiling, predictive behavior analysis. The coalition of ascendant Earthlings, Psyche, rose to dominance. An alliance of corporations, orbital cities, and paramilitary forces. But amid the cold advance of order, some voices still sought truth, resistance, hope. And from those voices emerged Lyra Kale. Born in 2046 under a habitat dome on Mars, Lyra was the daughter of a geologist and a former shuttle pilot. She showed early talent with machines, fixing drones by the time she was a teen. At 19, she joined the Interplanetary Mining Corps. Her goal? To touch the unknown, where red dust met black sky. She was tenacious, clever, and skeptical. On Psyche, far from oversight, she discovered something never meant for her eyes. And everything changed. 5 years earlier. The corridors of the Psyche mining colony were dry, dusty, stifling. Lyra had worked there 3 years, maintaining deep drill modules. Psyche, a metallic asteroid between Mars and Jupiter, was a treasure trove of nickel, platinum, rare earths, and something else. Something beyond understanding. Its geological layers were unique in the system. Isotope analyses showed compositions otherwise found only in collapsed stellar cores. Officially, it was a geological miracle. But some knew better. On Psyche, a secret project was underway. Construction of a propulsion system theorized to travel faster than light. Lyra didn't know. Not yet. Her days were filled with routine maintenance, dangerous repairs, and constant machine hums. Until that day, a drill head failed in Sector 9, restricted for military sensor testing. Only authorized personnel were permitted. Yet through a clerical error, or maybe fate, Lyra was dispatched for repairs. Sector 9 felt different. The walls were smooth, cold, artificial, no dust, no minor tags. Then a sound, a deep hum like a sleeping heart. She followed an unlisted conduit to a sealed door. No logo, no sign, just an old symbol, later identified as an obsolete CAE research division. She heard voices behind it, muffled like through vacuum glass. Words like superfield collapse, negative mass, wave space modulation. Then, the Erebos test was a success. With the Psyche reactor, we'll have jump range to the Eridani edge. She backed away, too late. A camera tracked her. The door hissed, but a cargo lifter thundered past. She ducked into a side alcove, heart pounding. She escaped detection, barely. From that moment, she was changed. She started digging. Logs, supply manifests, backups. The pieces formed a picture. The reactor in Sector 9 wasn't for power. It was a prototype gravity module designed to bend space itself. Not travel through it, but move it. Psyche's unique elements, rare isotopes and exotic metals, form an ideal matrix for the stabilizers. That geological quirk and Lyra's proximity to the site had given her a glimpse of truth. And the elite knew. For decades, she realized it wasn't just science they hid. It was future, freedom, hope. And she couldn't remain silent, even if it cost her everything. Psyche's dusk was artificial, simulated through station lighting. The asteroid itself knew no day or night. But workers needed rhythm to stay sane. Lyra had changed. Her movements more precise, her words more measured. She lived two lives now, technician by day, rebel researcher by night. She began stealing code, quietly, tiny bits at a time. Logs, inventory, coordinates, most encrypted, some useless. But a picture was forming. Project NYX. It appeared everywhere. Power charts, sensor logs, encrypted cores, and always linked to a subnetwork only accessible via quantum channels to Terra Orbital. She wasn't alone. Every station had its quiet watchers, techs who saw more than they should. One was Arun, a hydraulics engineer with old ties to independence movements. Another was Keed, the station's medical officer, who accidentally archived neural transmissions no one dared audit. They met secretly, shared findings, connected dots. NYX wasn't a project. It was a distributed system of research sites. And the goal? Spatial manipulation. Then Keed dropped the real bombshell. This technology isn't ours. She showed them an artifact. Non-human design, smooth, four materials, no power source. It was recovered on Erebos, before the CE moved in. It's been reverse-engineered ever since. A chill ran down Lyra's spine. They've lied to us. About everything. And if they realize we know, Keed said, we won't just be silenced. We'll be erased. Lyra took a breath. Then let's make sure we're too dangerous to ignore. The Nareda lay hidden in a cloud of wreckage. Delphi SIXS graveyard. Old freighters, dismantled colony ships, debris from long-forgotten skirmishes. The perfect hiding spot. But not for long. Lyra stood on the bridge, reviewing the decrypted coordinates Keed had uncovered. Nearly indecipherable, but within them, patterns emerged. Locations where fragments of the propulsion technology had been tested. The next waypoint lay far beyond the range of any conventional drive. There was only one option: activate the prototype. This is insane, Don muttered as he rerouted the power arrays. We have no idea if this thing will hold. If the jump field collapses mid-run, we're dead. Or we escape the CAE for good, Lyra said quietly. Preparations began. Deep in the belly of the Nareda, Arun had installed a makeshift interface for the gravitation field module, assembled from stolen components Lyra had scavenged from Sector 9. The reactor was already operating at its limit. We only get one shot, Keed warned. The module will overheat, maybe even burn out, and we don't know where we'll end up. This is a leap into the unknown. Better than a cage of metal and lies, Lyra answered. Her voice was steady. Then came the signal. The Sea frigate Solis Ark, the flagship, was entering the debris field. Its scanners were sweeping wide arcs. They had minutes. Now Lyra commanded. The crew took their stations. Arun rerouted power. Don stabilized the matrix. Keed synced the neural relays. The Nareda began to hum, not mechanically, but like space itself was responding. A subtle bending of perception, a pulling of thought. Gravity matrix at 70%, 85%, 97%. Don called. And then it happened. A rupture tore open the vacuum, a gash across space. Stars twisted, light distorted, and time seemed to hold its breath. The narrator was pulled into the fissure by a force that defied all sense, falling in every direction at once. Then, silence. Darkness. A flicker of stars. But they were not the stars of Sol. We're not in the solar system anymore, Arun whispered. Don's voice was a mix of awe and terror. Alpha Eridani. For light years out. We actually jumped. Keed laughed. A short, shocked breath of disbelief. Lyra stared out the viewport. Before them drifted a planet. Atmospherically stable. Emitting energy signatures. Not natural. A destination. Maybe even a beginning. Because if they had made the jump, so could the elite. They'll follow us, Lyra said. Keed nodded. Then let's make sure we're ready. The alien structure was no ruin. It lived, not with breath, but with resonance. Vibrations thrummed through its interior like the rhythm of a sleeping star. Lyra led Arun and Don deeper inside. The corridors were curved, the walls faintly translucent, as if space itself folded inward. There were no markings, no visible systems, only a faint glow beneath their feet. They reached a chamber at the heart of the structure. At its center, a monolith of liquid geometry spun slowly, impossible to focus on directly. A voice appeared, not heard but felt. You have come beyond the reach of your kind. What? Lyra stepped forward. We seek to understand. To understand is to change. Images flooded her mind, a cascade of memories not her own. Civilizations grown vast and vanished. Technologies that bent space, thought, and time. Warnings left like echoing songs. Don staggered. Arun knelt, breathing hard. Their minds were being tested, not attacked but challenged. The voice continued. You are not the first. Most pass. Some return. None remain the same. Keed's voice crackled from the comms. Lyra, the Solis arc just entered orbit. They're here. Lyra's hand brushed the monolith. The structure responded. Energy surged outward. A portal opened. A choice had to be made. The Solis arc drifted into orbit. Massive, dark, silent. A technological monolith, its hull glinting like obsidian in the light of the Eridani star. It didn't fire. It waited. A shuttle detached and approached. No escordrones. No weapons deployed. Just 4 people on board. A message. Lyra stood at the edge of the alien platform. Behind her, the alien structure pulsed with quiet rhythm, more like a heart than a machine. Her hands trembled slightly, but her voice was steady. They came, Keed said, just like we knew they would. Lyra nodded. Then let's hear what they want. General Valen stepped out of the shuttle first, flanked by 3 aides, one of whom Lyra recognized. Merrick, her former supervisor on Psyche. Lyra Kale, Valen said. You've gone far. You've followed further. Valen's eyes scanned the structure behind her. Do you know what it is? A threshold, she replied. One you never planned for us to cross. He sighed. You think you're the first? You think this thing hasn't been known? No, Lyra said. I think it's been buried. Feared. Not because it's dangerous, but because it's liberating. He joined her, holding up a holochip. We've seen what lies beyond. You don't have to stop us anymore. Valen's tone sharpened. You're not ready. The minds of your kind, our kind, fracture under this knowledge. We haven't fractured, Lyra said. We've evolved. The portal behind her flared to life. It wasn't fire or light or wind. It was invitation. Step back, Valen ordered. No, Lyra said. Step forward or stay behind. She turned and entered. Keed followed. Arun, Don. Valen hesitated, then lowered his hand. He did not follow. The gate sealed behind them. Time did not pass. It unfolded. The world beyond the portal was not a place. It was a state, a field of awareness that existed inside and outside them. Matter bent. Thought moved. Identity echoed. They saw civilizations long gone. Warnings carved in gravity. Energy flowing like memory. Paths taken and paths lost. The propulsion tech had never been about speed. It was a sieve, a gate, A test. Those who passed through had to understand more than physics. They had to become more. And they did. Lyra returned changed. So did the others. Not in body, but in mind. They could no longer forget what they had seen. But they could share. Not through speech. Through influence. Through pattern. Through inspiration. Back in normal space, they initiated Project Aletheia. They didn't fight the CA. They seeded doubt. Ideas. Messages hidden in code. Rhythms in radio waves. Music carrying truths. The elite try to silence it. But you cannot silence change once it has memory. A year later, the narrator drifted in Saturn's shadow. In silence. Watching. Keat adjusted a sensor relay. They're listening now. Some of them. Lyra nodded. That's enough. For now. They had returned to the outer system with nothing more than the clothes they wore, and the resonance of another reality inside them. They triggered something no empire could hold back. Something that bloomed quietly, exponentially. They had not brought a weapon. They had become a threshold. And across the system, more minds began to listen, to imagine, to reach. The asteroid Psyche turned slowly in the cold silence beyond Mars. No chipstakt, no transmission sekoth. The corridors of its abandoned mining colony lay in dust and stillness. Machines sat frozen mid-task, as if waiting for orders that would never come. But deep beneath the surface, beyond collapsed tunnels and sealed vaults, something remained. A faint hum, a light. The prototype reactor Lyra once discovered was still there, dormant, intact, unforgotten. And in a forgotten chamber, a signal blinked, soft, steady, unwavering. A beacon, waiting for someone to ask again, what lies beyond the veil of stars?